Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Pyre Community RITE Night, which means of course some good old-fashioned multiplayer Pyre, featuring first and foremost none other than the members of the RITE Club Discord server, the place for all things multiplayer Pyre. And if you're interested in getting more involved in multiplayer Pyre, then look no further, because you can join said Discord group by clicking on that link right there. But those of you in chat, you are not off the hook. No, because you see the red circle with the white L below chat. You click on that and you'll find all of the various requests that you can make today, including things ranging from selecting players, exiles, masteries, songs, arenas, even Titan stars are all fair game. So let's hop into versus mode here. And I suppose it is worth acknowledging that today we are back to our typical RITE Night format, whereas last week we had our first civil war in quite some time, and I'm sure that we will spend at least some time mentioning some of those matches, maybe the overall result. So just a heads up, if you did not get the chance to check that out, then definitely do so. The VOD is now up on YouTube, so you can see all that stuff as it played out, and that way you won't be spoiled by whatever conversations might take place here today. So that's your spoiler warning. But otherwise, why don't we get ourselves started today? And I will hop into Discord. There we are. Okay. So let me know if there is anyone who would like to get us started today. Camilo. I did see Camilo for a second there. Looked like he may have been cursed. But it appears as though his computer is back to normal. He is back to normal, no worries. Okay, so Camilo and Lilac. Now I know Camilo, you oftentimes prefer to play on keyboard mouse, but can you go controller so that we can have you up against Lilac? Or I'm assuming Lilac that you're saying you want to get in as well. Some kind of affliction. Something beyond our mortal comprehension. And that does work to go controller? Okay. That maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here, but Lilac, were you saying you are interested in getting in? Definitely Camilo. He is definitely interested. Let me get him. I thought, Lilac, you were saying you were interested and available, but maybe I misinterpreted. So I believe we should have Camilo in now, but that does mean we are maybe still looking for someone to face off against Camilo, depending on if Lilac is actually trying to get in here or not. Still not 100% sure, although I've not heard anything to confirm that. So maybe that means we are still looking for another person, and that means iRotor may be able to hop in that other spot. Okay. Let me send an invite to iRotor, and in that case, Camilo, you probably could go keyboard mouse if you prefer. Invite should be on its way, iRotor. We'll go keyboard mouse then. Okay. Let me make sure you have keyboard mouse controls. There we go. Let's also double check this looks right to you. Alright. Okay. Let us know if there is anything we are looking for in this first match, but at least at the moment, I am not seeing anything, so of course that may mean that we can just leave this up to the players to go with whatever they'd like. That is always an option. Oh. I'm pretty sure...
Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we ended up with 3 masters there. I'll reset us. Hold on. There we go.
Titan stuff.
I also didn't see if we had the sermon intro on or not.
The withdrawn.
Oh, we did not. Okay, we'll do a sermon intro for the next one. Don't worry. You'll still get your inaugural sermon intro. But yeah, no requests from chat for this one, so both players just taking their preferred teams. As I said, last week we were doing the Civil War, which was a different structure. Today we are back to the usual RITE NITE format, so if you missed what happened last week, then definitely make sure to check it out, because I imagine there may be, at the very least, mention of some of the things that happened last week, so if you don't want to be spoiled on that, then just bear that in mind. That being said, though, iRotor was the one who redeemed to have the Civil War happen, and I don't believe iRotor participated in said Civil War, which was, you know, maybe iRotor was just watching from afar, you know, watching maniacally at what he had, of the chain reaction that he had caused. Maybe it was all by design. Oh, I also forgot to... Oh, before you confirm this last exile, Camilo, I forgot to put your names and sigils on, so let me just do that real quick. Okay, so... just so people know what's happening. So we have... iRotor, you were player 1, right?
Yes.
Okay, this one's iRotor. This one is... Camilo. And we have withdrawn for iRotor and Camilo. Did you do tempers, Camilo?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. All right, all set up and ready to go whenever you guys are. All right, so we'll be iRotor and Camilo getting us started today.
Now begin.
Little thrash pack for good measure. And a lot of banishments in the middle of the arena. Here is iRotor. Oh, goes for the banishing throw, but actually doesn't hit anything in the process. Camilo aggressive with the exploding sapling, but still iRotor able to at least stall Camilo here, but Camilo is back in possession with Pamitha, who switches in to a quick throwing sap. That throw lands for 22, slightly less than the maximum. Pamitha switches in once again to a quick throwing Volfred. That time it's for the full 25. Or was it Manly? This one is Manly. One of them clearly has the quick throwing talisman. I didn't catch what the other one had, but there's this time a harp score, a 20 damage plunge from Camilo's Pamitha, but no prayer beads on her, so she is now gone, and there's only one defender back. iRotor brute forcing it a bit with Vizpaleth. The Numbing Gust slowed Vizpaleth down, and eventually Camilo able to get the stop. Yeah, Manly clearly has Nutrition Stick. Volfred is the quick throwing sap. Pamitha for iRotor stopped here. More exploding saplings. Manly stopped there. Numbing Gust activated. Several seconds worth of Numbing Gust at that. So enough time for iRotor to advance. Not enough to score, at least not until those saps return. And once again, iRotor able to throw, so sets up 30 damage from Vizpaleth, who was not able to get the throw off there, although it almost looked like it for a second. That is quite the range on those sap throws. Of course, the highest base throwing range of any class of character. That was even without any additional throwing range talisman support. Just the extra throwing speed makes it easier to get to that maximum range as quickly as possible. Bisbleth again for iRotor. This one lands for 30.
Tis taken.
Manly. Back to Volfred. Manly shields off one defender, then gets banished by the second. Is Paulette. The Harp Shield doing just enough to protect Camilo there. Oh, and still has a sap near the Pyre. Throws that one in for 25, and that means one score potentially all Camilo needs here. We would expect Camilo with 2 saps to have some rekindling, even though one of them has gone for the Numbing Gust, so it's probably not the maximum amount, but no saps on iRotor's side, therefore very unlikely for us to see any rekindling on his end. Oh, big exploding sapling play from Camilo, but iRotor thankful to get some of those defenders back, but the throw lands and it is just enough for Camilo to take the win.
The scribes themselves surely have taken note.
GG.
Thus end this
Also, I hear all of your Discord notifications through Discord.
I haven't had a single Discord notification this entire time. So.
Someone's Discord notifications.
Okay, I don't think it's me, because I haven't heard anything on Discord.
until the next rite.
I don't have any, so it's not mine.
It might come from my computer. I don't know.
I don't think that's me. I'm not sure.
I believe it was me, but I don't know. My computer is weird.
Alright, well let us know, chat, if there is anything we would like to see between iRotor and Camilo for the next one. Also, for what it's worth, are the 2 shades of green different enough that you guys can tell each other apart, or are they too similar?
I didn't have confusion at me.
Yeah, I didn't get confused.
It was
either.
fine? Okay. No worries.
The question, are the viewers confused?
Yeah, I think it was fine on my end. Hopefully other people in chat felt the same way. Lilac says, can't hear anything, but I'm coming, give me a second. Okay, not entirely sure what to make of this. I mean, there was a point when we weren't sure if Lilac was trying to get in, and then didn't hear anything after that. Now it seems a little more like Lilac's trying to get in. Alright, well, I was also asking about requests in chat, so maybe there's a chance that that's what Lilac's going for. Maybe at the very least. Sound is on. Okay. There we go. Okay, so it's customize off from Lilac. That is perhaps what we were waiting on. Okay, why don't we hop in with that? Of course means random exiles, masteries, and talismans. Won't even get to see what those things are in advance, just gonna get thrown straight into the action.
The withdrawn.
And oh, we're at iRotor's home arena.
The temper.
Ashen Coal, 2 saps, and an imp for iRotor. It's double nomad, at least one of which has a ring, possibly 2. And then Vorfritz, the Beyonder's crone, is the last member of Camilo's team. Both players doubling down. Of course, not that they had any say in that matter. It's all the will of the scribes. Web Lanthorn on one of iRotor's exiles might have even been the imp, and if so, that is very nice find for iRotor. Of course, this does, at least by relatively traditional metrics, look like a quite defensive team for iRotor with double sap and an imp, as Camilo gets us started with no prayer beads on forfeit. She is now gone after that plunge. So the question for iRotor may be, what is there in the way of offensive setup? Now, of course, we have, as we've said many times before, found that people have been able to turn saps into a much more offensive class, as we now see iRotor throwing that one in for 25 with a sap, but that is due in large part to some offensive talismans helping the saps quite considerably. And with Customize off, very unlikely that iRotor would find himself with any of those key offensive talismans. So it might take a little more clever play to manufacture offense out of that team. And I suppose you could make a similar statement about Camilo's team, maybe to a slightly lesser extent, but those nomads tend to be characters people rely on pretty heavily for their big casts, as now iRotor blinking in with one of the saps. No prayer beads on that one, though. Webland I think that is on Raji. It definitely is. So that's huge for iRotor. His imp, at the very least, has what is by many accounts the best imp talisman. We know Camilo has one or possibly both rings. If he has both rings, that's actually pretty crazy for Customize off. The fact that the ring name was showing and he had infinite stamina on at least one of those nomads seems to suggest that yes, he does have both rings. There are, what, 46 talismans in Pyre, I believe? Some of those character cannot equip because they're legendary talismans of the wrong class, but still, the chances of getting 2 rings is like, what, 1 in 900 maybe? I think even less, probably like 1 in 1,000. So, that's pretty crazy. Very improbable, and yet I think that may be just what Camilo ended up getting. It may be rare, of course. The other question is, does that mean it's any good? And, well, Camilo, we'll just have to see as he plunges this time with one of those nomads. Yeah, I think it's Lendl here and it's Vorfrit are the two with the rings. So you saw at the beginning of the round there that they both had infinite stamina. Oh, effective exploding sapling there from Palmas. Has the range to throw that one in for 25, and it drops Camilo down to 3. Now, of course, we know 2 of Camilo's talismans. Don't think we have had any hint of what Headwind's talisman is here. Which does potentially mean it could be a RITE Light, giving 20 rekindling, but if not, then that may mean that 1 score is all that iRotor needs here, as iRotor really locking down the middle of the arena with all of those saps and sapling auras. Headwind retreats, throws the orb at his own Pyre to bounce it back out. iRotor does have a somewhat dangerous portal here now, though. I was about to say, it looked to be a very difficult spot for Camilo to retrieve the orb, and yet somehow he did do it. The Sacred Bond does help Camilo able to walk up to his teammates' portraits to bring them back from banishment. And here is Camilo, plunging for 30, and that means 1 score potentially all Camilo needs to at least deplete iRotor's starting Pyre life, but of course, with 2 saps, you would think he would likely have at least some rekindling. Oh, and the last second save there from Camilo. iRotor needed just 3 damage, so he definitely had enough there, but potentially history about to repeat itself this time, as once again, Camilo able to get the stop. Meanwhile, iRotor is saying, surely 3rd time would be the charm. There's no way Camilo could get 3 last-second saves in a row. But now everyone down. It looks like Camilo will get Lendl back first, but the orb is near iRotor's Pyre, so iRotor will be the first to retrieve the orb, at least. And of course, a lot of the situation is due to the plunge with Vorfrit. So Camilo is at best at 2 characters. Oh, that's a clever play there from Camilo, jumping in even where there was an aura, just to get one of his teammates back with Sacred Bond. And it did end up working out for him. Risky though it looked. Here is Lendl. He's hopping in, and there is the rekindling though, and that is not what Camilo wanted to see. It's 50.
Didn't see it coming.
Of course, it is possible, depending on the masteries, for Camilo to have some leech on his nomads. But we haven't seen that yet, so it would seem unlikely at this stage. I imagine he's already scored at least once with both of the nomads, though I haven't taken particular note of that. There's again the high-risk maneuver, diving into those auras just for the sake of bringing back one of his teammates. It is a risk that has seemingly tended to pay off for Camilo, though. Well, very close to iRotor's Pyre, and Camilo nearly able to win it back and follow in soon thereafter with a plunge, but iRotor able to fend off those attacks. Gets the saps back. Now much more difficult for Camilo to break through, and iRotor perhaps deliberately left his imp there and sets up a dangerous portal. Oh, but Camilo finds a way through, plunges again with Vorfrit. We've seen that has caused some trouble for him in the past, but then again, now it is a 1-score game, but Camilo is defenseless. iRotor moves in. Will Camilo come back in time? No! iRotor takes the win. GG.
Their adversaries came ever so close.
Well played, you
The
two.
rite is complete.
Alright. Let's head on back.
Until the stars align.
That was a customize off match, in which we saw some interesting setups despite neither player having any control over those teams. Yeah, customize off at its peak. I mean, we could do the math. Hold on, I think it's about a 1 in 1,000% chance that Camilo got that talisman. Technically the math's a little more complicated than that. Maybe a little more likely than that he gets the double rings. Okay, now Lilac is requesting 1 Orlek per team. Orlek must be picked first. Each Orlek, however, must have Black Hoof, and we're at the Nest of Triesta. Okay. Interesting. So a cursed Orlek in the lead spot for both players. Is that all? Or is there anything else? Looks like that might be it. So why don't we hop back in? So it's a Black Hoof Orlek in the first spot for both players. That much is for sure.
Shall now face the Tempest.
The rest is up to the players, though.
Welcome.
There is still considerable room for customization.
The rites.
So there is Black Hoof Orlek for iRotor. And now here for Camilo as well, but this is where things get a little more interesting, as now we do not know what the players are going to take. Of course, Orlek is a classic Achilles heel character. Very strong outside of that one hope, and then obviously the Cursed Talisman as well. So to what extent do the players try to make up for those weaknesses that Orlek has?
Volfred.
Exploding Volfred for Camilo. Prayer Beads Dalbert in the last spot for iRotor. And Camilo goes with a power casting Headwind. So here we go. Both players with the same lead, but they did go in very different directions. Well, somewhat different directions with their other characters. I suppose both players did end up taking Headwind.
The orbs unclaimed, the orb bathes first in the tempers.
But there is a 20 damage curve plunge from iRotor, and did take Prayer Beads on Dalbert, so he is back. But there you see the downside of that Cursed Talisman, the Black Hoof. Neither Orlek can pick up the orb, which is quite the hindrance when that is on your lead character. Now it is once again a 20 damage Dalbert plunge from iRotor. Camilo moving in with Volfred. iRotor, though, trying to cover the Pyre. Did just enough there. iRotor back with Dalbert. It's been the key offensive figure thus far. The scorer of both of iRotor's plunges thus far. Now Headwind tries to move in, but down he goes. And at the moment, just Dalbert. Although Orlek and Headwind return simultaneously, somewhat unusual that for Orlek. Well, with him having the longest respawn time, but do see the Sacred Bond for iRotor, so he does have a way to get Orlek back through that means. But once again, it's back to Dalbert here. And everyone down for Camilo, that is the risk. With having Orlek on your team, especially if your other characters take a long time to come back from banishment as well, as that was an uncontested score for iRotor. But it is also a bit of a challenge trying to find a role for Orlek here, as he obviously cannot pick up the orb. It's Dalbert once more. So Orlek certainly capable of being the first character to the orb, but there's not much he can do once he gets there. That's Dalbert's job. One more of those could be all that iRotor needs. Camilo does have a sap, may have taken some rekindling. Orlek, of course, can still get banishments, though runs the risk of getting banished himself, and that is maybe a trade-off that is not always worthwhile, given how the character who Orlek banishes will probably be back after a few seconds, and same cannot be said for Orlek. Here is the rekindling for Camilo, but it's just 10, so that means that one more score, likely all that iRotor would need here. Not to come from Orlek, though, at least not without significant support from a teammate, such as Dalbert, who jumps in for the win.
The withdrawn prevail.
GG.
It was as though the scribes themselves stood by their side.
Well played, you two.
The ceremony is complete.
Alright, well let's head on back.
Until the next rite.
Gonna swap to controller? Okay. In the meantime, I'll just set us back here. Be right back? Okay. No worries. Let us know if there is anything we would like to set up for the next one. That was Orlek in the lead spot with the Black Hoof Talisman at the Nest of Triesta. Outside of that, it was up to the players. We could request some ridiculous things here while Camilo is away, just to surprise him once he returns, but He has already returned. I said nothing. You heard nothing. Camilo cannot be surprised. Meanwhile, Camilo's like, I had like Bluetooth headphones on the entire time. I heard everything you said, Lids. I wasn't using headphones at all. I just had speakers. All right. Well, not seeing any requests right now, so perhaps we'll go back to having the players take their full setups here. Oh, actually, hold on. I did not check to see if Camilo had set up his controller. Maybe that's worth verifying first. Okay. I see that it appears to be plugged in. If one of you guys could just confirm that iRotor is still player 1 and Camilo is still player 2.
Still player 1.
Okay. Perfect. Just walked fast enough to perceive your evil machinations through the air vibrations. Camilo is just on another level.
The Tempers. Welcome.
Alright, well, no requests from chat for this one. So iRotor goes full left side on Zoxiana. I think it was prayer beads on her. Camilo goes exploding Gilman. iRotor now with the banishing quick throws on Vispoleth. Okay, Lilac looking to get in fairly soon. The internet gods, at the moment at least, are cooperating. That may not remain the case for long. Speedy Raji for Camilo. Speedy Jodariel for iRotor. Mooncrest on Bertrude is the final choice for Camilo, and here we go. There's the exploding Gilman. Jody hip-hopping her way all the way in, although with Stubborn Flame immediately active, means it's only 20 damage. That's one downside, I suppose, that comes from iRotor having taken the extra starting Pyre life from his demons, at least one of them. And a little worm throw there for Camilo. Camilo trying to go back to the worm throw, though that time it was a little bit short. Zoxiana blocks, but then switches in to Vispoleth, whose throw again maxes out at 20 damage because of Stubborn Flame. Jody jumps over the defenders and in for a 20 damage plunge. But she does not have prayer beads, so she's gone in this round. Raji for Camilo. Throws it in for 6. Raji this time
Impressive
throws it in
thrust.
for 4.
Oh, how comical.
Jody swapped in and then got banished. And now that means time for Camilo, whose momentum nearly took him in for a plunge, but just barely stopped in time to turn that into a throw. Everyone down on Iroder's side. Means time for Camilo, and with Seize Chance active, that's a 25 damage worm throw. Series of banishments in front of Iroder's Pyre, but Iroder emerges with Jodario. Stubborn Flame still active, so only 20 damage, although 20 damage is precisely the amount that Iroder would need here. He actually would not have that amount with Zoxiana, at least not with Stubborn Flame. So it would need to be a full damage demon score. Here's Camilo, thrown in for 15.
Patience, breeder. 'Tis taken.
So by some metrics, this could be a one-score game, and there is Iroder taking the win.
And such a well-conducted victory it was.
GG.
The rite is done.
Well played, you two. Let's head on back, and I don't know if Blood Princess did this deliberately, but I accidentally skipped the sermon intro for the first match today, and then I said I was going to do it on the next one because I had forgotten for the first, and then I didn't do that. So perhaps it's fitting that we turn it back on here, and then Blood Princess is also going to turn Customize off. Now, Lilac did say that they are interested in getting in soon, so perhaps we could do... Forgot that. I'm sorry, Blood Princess, but all the more reason for you to request it here, I suppose. Have I even seen... Oh, I saw Frost King early in chat, but I haven't seen Frost King since, so I don't know what Frost King's interest and availability is like at the moment. But yeah, Frost King, if you are up for that, we could maybe do this last match between Iroder and Camilo and then do a double switch, if that works.
Sure.
Okay. Seems like at least on Lilac's end that works, and suppose we can check. We can see if Frost King is interested in that as well, but while we are waiting to hear back from Frost King, we can hop in for this one. Sermon intro on, Customize off. Normally you would, but a little tired today. Okay, well we could do it just a single switch, or if anyone else would like to get in, we could get you instead of Frost King to play against Lilac in the next few matches, but this one here sounds like will at least be our last one between Iroder and Camilo. We will likely swap one of them out, or Lilac, maybe both, if we get a second person looking to hop in soon.
Hear me, exiles. You heed the summons to the Book of Rites. You shall take part here in a glorious tradition. Prevail and earn the favor of the scribes. The withdrawn stand prepared. Tempers stand prepared.
Okay, so it's Crone, Worm, Imp for Iroder. It is Demon, Harp, and Cur for Camilo. See what else we can figure out. Fairy Spirit on... I couldn't tell who that was technically coming from. Saw that there is no salute on Camilo's Pamitha. Everyone down on Camilo's side. So time for Iroder to throw that one in for 25 from his Crone. Winged Fury, so that's at least a little bit of right side on Camilo's Pamitha. And here is Camilo with a finger guns plunge. But now no Iggy in this round. Pamitha. Oh, with Righteous Flame. 20 damage plus 10 leech, so net 30 points of value for Camilo there. No Celestial Spike on Ignarius. Oh, and well-timed Implosion there for Iroder. As Iroder now throws that one in for a full 15 damage from his worm.
Now to the flame.
Ametha blocked a few times there. Back with Pamitha. Tries to hard push her way through and does just enough to make it in there for another net 30-point play. Technically may mean that Camilo might only need one more, depending on if it's coming from Ignarius. The crones usually go that far above the pyre when they plunge? Or was that one of those times where it was just a little off the mark? Either way, it was a crone plunge from Iroder's Bertrude. Oh, the automatic passing Bright Wisp Talisman, it seemed like, for Iroder. Now one defender against 3 attackers for Camilo, and has the opportunity to plunge with Iggy for the win. GG.
Their adversaries confidently thwarted.
Well played, you two.
The rite is ended.
All right, let's head on back.
Until the next rite.
And I know we're looking to get Lilac in here. We thought Frost King might have been our second person, but it sounds like Frost King is saying not that interested today. Let us know if there is a second person who would like to swap in, or if we're just talking about a single swap here with Lilac. I think I saw Phaler popping in a little earlier. Phaler, if you'd like to get in, we could certainly do that. Or anyone else for that matter. Okay. Camilo says he's flexible to swap in or out whenever needed. In which case we could go Iroder against Lilac, I suppose. As I'm not seeing anyone else looking to get in the other spot at the moment. Thank you for stopping by, Camilo. GG's.
Hello, gamers.
Hello, gamers.
Hello.
Hello. There we go.
I know I sent you... Oh, I was about to say, there we go. Sent you the invite, and there it is. Which triumvirate would you like to be, Lilac?
I would like to be the dissidents
Okay.
today, actually. Shaking things up a bit.
I feel like that's the one you go with most often.
Well, I've been on a bit of a fate streak
Okay,
lately.
I see.
You were not aware of this?
No, that's true. That's true. But I still still seem like dissidents more often than anything else, nonetheless.
I see. I see. I want people to remember that I'm the dissidents guy.
Okay. Then let me make sure you have controls.
I'm the dissidents guy, not Chewing Dragon. Chewing Dragon is the fake dissidents.
Oh, wow.
That I'm making my statement.
You do mouse presets, right, Lilac?
Yep.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Let us know if there is anything we would still like to see between these two for what would be our first matchup of the day between iRotor and Lilac?
Hey Lids, I think I've asked you this before, or at least like someone told me that I already asked this before, but I have no memory of it, so I'm going to ask you again. So apologies if I have asked you this before. Have you ever considered voice acting? Or would you ever consider voice acting?
Oh, well, first of all, I think you will appreciate this. Blood Princess did just request that we go to the boat.
Yes! Boat! Boat!
The enthusiasm is palpable. I can just picture you like the yeah, like flexing. Boat time, let's go.
Yeah, that's what I was doing actually. I love me some boat.
I don't think we've had it yet today. It's all right. Why don't we hop in? And yeah, I mean the closest thing I really do to voice acting is this, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
But, like,
stuff with
would you
streaming
ever-
and making videos.
Would you ever consider
The withdrawn
voice acting?
shall
Well, I mean, it's the kind. I don't know. I mean, I'm unfamiliar with the particulars of the process. You know, I think it's the kind of thing that you don't really just stumble into for the most part. You need to audition for those types of things, so it's not
Well, I
like
was-
it's something
Well,
that's all that easy to just get started
Well, you
on.
sa- Right, well, you say that like it isn't easy because the reason I was asking you was because there's been like a project that I've been planning. It's like nowhere near the point that I would actually start on it, but there was a character that I was considering including a character that was kind of an homage to you, maybe.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Why are you saying that like it's a bad thing?
Oralek.
What?
Well, I don't know. Is it gonna be like this old man in the corner who's like, "Oh dear, I'm afraid I cannot participate in the rites, for I am
No.
over the hill." I don't know.
No, like... Wait, are you saying that would be an homage to you?
I feel like that's your perception of me.
No, it's... Actually, no. I kind of perceive you as, like, the cooler AJ.
Oh, okay.
anything.
So I'm like the finger guns, AJ.
Yes, you're the AJ that doesn't constantly insult people, and you're fun to listen to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, like I had an idea for a character that was inspired by you, and I was thinking, well, who better to ask to voice such a character than the Lids man himself? And to clarify, like, in the hypothetical event that you did agree to do voice acting, it would basically just be your normal voice.
Oh, okay. I don't even know if there's voice acting in that. I don't know. As I said, I'm not very familiar with the voice acting process. I mean, I guess that still counts.
It's just a hypothetical. I don't even know if I would even start on this project during your lifetime.
Ah, I see.
Begin. Now then.
All right. Well, here we go with our first match between iRotor and Lilac. For today, we have a Crone, a Savage, and an Imp. On iRotor's side, we have a Crone, a Cur, and Orlek on Lilac's side, as iRotor gets us started with a 30 damage Crone plunge. Did have prayer beads, so Forfeit is still here in this round, and here she is,
Okay. Okay.
following up with another plunge.
Shall the withdrawn further press their luck?
Orlek finds his way in for 25.
Fire on each side burns just as true.
Oh, that's a little boat magic of the crone variety, it seemed like there. Pretty sure that was longer distance jump than we would usually see, but everyone down on Lilac's side. So time for Iroder to throw that one in for 25.
How very fortunate for the withdrawn.
Orlek blocked. Iroder gets it back, but then gets banished. Orlek blocked again. This time banished. Crone chasing Crone, and it's Vorfrit who won the race. Palmer now. His throw. Good for 10. I think Lilac now benefiting from a Stubborn Flame effect. That was a little bit interesting. A little bit of boat magic with the collision, it seemed. Well, Lilac may have summoned Archer Bashpaws, as it does seem that
Why, hello there.
after
Why,
mentioning Chewing Dragon a minute or so ago, Chewing Dragon has now made an appearance.
No, I said nothing about. No, I didn't say anything about Chewing Dragon. What are you talking about?
Of course
I didn't
not.
say anything.
Of course not.
I would never challenge the great Chewing Dragon.
I don't know. Was somebody saying something about how Lilac was the real Dissidence player? Not?
No.
Chewing
No,
Dragon, I
said
believe
nothing-
that
I said
might
nothing
be a
like-
verbatim quote.
I said nothing like that.
Thus
As a
end
matter of
this
fact, I
night's
feel like
proceedings.
do we have a recording of that? I feel like someone might have a recording of that somewhere.
No. No, you must be hearing things.
Well, that's strange.
Where's the Titan Stars redeem?
Oh, did I
Yeah.
actually not? Oh, hold
Yeah,
on.
it's not there.
Hold on.
It's not
That was
there
not
at
intentional. Give me just a second. Where is it? Oh, you're right. There it is. Should be back now. You might need to refresh. Meanwhile, I just hear Lilac tippity tapping
I was-
away.
I was responding to something else on a different tab. Sorry.
Well, let us know if there is
Um,
anything we would like to see between
I-
Iroder and Lilac. Dissidents and the true dissidents. I see.
I did have some request ideas that I'd been stocking up, but now I either forgot most of them or they're ones that I didn't want to participate in directly.
Oh dear. Yeah, you know, that's maybe a bit of a sign if there are requests that you don't want to partake of.
Well, like I'm already like one of the less advanced players. I don't really want to do anything that'll put me even more behind.
Oh.
You know. I'm saying that lightheartedly, by the way. I'm not like self-deprecating.
Well, speaking of which, that
What's that
reminded me,
noise?
I had the list of the team archetypes somewhere around here. I need to find where I put that piece of paper, but it's here somewhere.
Wait, actually, is there like can I just request an archetype assignment for free? Because I've never participated
Yeah,
in one of those.
I will need a minute to find where that piece of paper is. So I can, if you give me a minute here, because I don't know where that went.
Also, Chewing Dragon has a request.
Oh, Titan Stars? Oh dear. I mean, you say that. Technically, that means you are buffing Lilac with an extra brain cell.
I get the brain cell.
Yeah, I mean,
I get the
that's
brain cell.
a good thing for Lilac, at least. All right, what? Give me a minute. I'm going to see if I can find that piece of paper.
Okay, good luck.
Mass Effect. Mass Effect. Also Mass Effect.
How much Mass Effect
Where is that
stuff do
piece of
you
paper?
have? How much Mass Effect stuff do you have?
Where did I put that?
Oh no, we lost it.
Huh?
Are you all doing all right, Lids? You good?
I legitimately cannot find the piece of paper where I wrote that down. That stuff
Oh
down.
no. That is
I
bad.
don't know where it is. So
Where's the last place you remember it?
the place where I was just looking, but the place where I was just looking has a lot of pieces of paper on it. So
Was it a specific color?
No. It was just a standard piece of paper.
Oh no.
So maybe on a future occasion, when I sort through this stuff a little more, I can potentially unearth it, but I do not know where it went. And then I'm sure, like, as soon as I end the stream, we'll be like, oh, there it is. Because that's just the way those things work. I mean, I remember some of them, so, like, I could give you one that I just remember randomly off the top of my head. But if you truly want the potential to get any or all of them, then, you know, that's... I cannot do that without having the paper in front of me.
You can... Chewing Dragon, what do you mean by that? Is this lore related? Lids. Wait, Lids, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm here.
Okay. Okay. He's here. He's
Wait,
there, he's
and
over
Blood
there.
Press. Yeah, I was kind of deliberately talking out loud as I was trying to sort through that stuff, and I did say that most of the papers that I was searching through were Mass Effect related or just like random bills and whatnot. So, don't think I wrote it the information on any of those. I hope not. Okay, so I think we just hop back in. We do have the
Wait, you can give me a random one.
random one. Okay, like one of the ones
Okay.
that I just remember.
Yeah, like I'd rather get something.
Okay, let
Please.
me do. iRotor, would you like one as well? See how many I can remember off the top
sure.
of my head. Okay, hold on.
Also,
I need to
someone
channel
else has
my inner
entered the
team
chat.
archetype.
Someone else has entered the chat.
I did see that. Yes. Let's see. Okay. Now, you see, the other thing I could do is I could just look at previous times when I DM'd people giving them team archetypes. That's the way to easily recall. Let's go. I know iRotor's done this a few times. I've definitely sent a bunch to him before. Let's go. Okay, iRotor sent one to you. And then Lilac. See if I can remember a different one. Let's see. You we could do. I'm also trying to not just do all the ones that we've done before if possible.
Like these are.
But those are harder to remember because we haven't done them yet. How about we give you... Don't think we've done this one yet. Okay. I don't think we've done either of those yet, but I
Wait, also,
could be
Liz,
wrong.
did you finally read? Did you ever read the? I just realized I'd sent you that. Did you read what Chewing Dragon wrote?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Well, I DM'd it to you, so it like should be.
I see that there's this wall of text in a DM. I don't remember if I've read it though. Okay. So as a reminder, theoretically, if Lids had the list of archetypes, we would have a list of about 30 different archetypes, which are supposed to be sort of team themes that give you a sense of, you know, what strategy to build around to be your key to success, so that you have some direction while at the same time not being so restrictive as to require that you take every specific, you know, character mastery or talisman. So it's a little bit of a middle ground between requesting stuff from chat while at the same time giving the players the option to build a team that suits their preferences. So I have DM'd a team archetype to both players. I don't believe we've seen any of those archetypes before, but I'm going based off memory, so I could be wrong. All right, and we do have.
I was going to like ask a question, but I don't want to give.
Yeah,
away...
you can DM me a question if you have any clarifying questions, but the idea is that these are archetypes that are open-ended enough that you know, you have some room for interpretation there. You don't necessarily need to go 100% in on that theme, but it should be a fairly significant component of your team composition.
Got it.
All right, so why don't I get us started here, because I imagine some of the players' planning may be best done with the characters and talismans in front of them. We did have a request for this.
Of course. Islach.
The withdrawn shall now face.
For a second, I thought that was the boat, and I was about to start yelling. And I, just,
No boat this time.
I thought that the rocks or the mounds were the boat holes.
Oh.
I've got boat on the brain. Okay.
So the players know their own archetypes, because I DM'd them to the players, but they do not know what their opponent's archetype is. And that is by design in large part, so that the players are focusing on their teams and not just trying to counterpick their opponents.
I'm going to abuse my ability to ask questions.
Okay, yep, no worries. Let me check what your question is. 1 second.
Without like giving it away, like.
I mean, it's not like it's a secret.
Okay,
the pieces toward these archetypes.
The way you describe it, the first thing that comes to mind is like a very specific pool of. I
should say that some of the archetypes are. The idea is that they're open-ended, so that you know, you have some flexibility. Although some are more narrow in definition than others.
This is one of the more narrow ones.
You might have one of the more narrow ones, and for those, the hope is that even if it is still built around a specific mastery or two, or talisman or two, that there are still multiple ways to build a team around that. So even if it does have one or two things that are sort of prerequisites. Meanwhile, let me just quickly Make sure I'm not forgetting about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Is that
better...
you or I wrote her?
This is me.
Ah, alright. What are you gonna
I'm
choose the
just
next
checking to
time for
make
me?
sure that I am not forgetting of other things.
Yeah, because what you described to me, what comes to mind is like a fairly small pool of.
Yeah, it
like,
definitely is a small
Mhm.
set of stuff. I'm just trying to see if anything I'm forgetting about that would also fall into that category. I think it's just that.
Are you telling me to pick Lendl?
No, I DM'd you.
Okay. Okay. What would happen if someone made a mod that allowed you to pick all 8 masteries?
That might be a good iRotor question.
Oh?
Well, I mean, as someone who was behind many of the
Probably
mods.
some broken combinations. I haven't thought about it.
Mm-hmm. I'd be intrigued. I'd be intrigued by such a thing.
Speedy Volfred. Ooh, okay.
I couldn't.
You
I
only
couldn't.
had 3 masteries?
Did you only have 3? Did you take a 4th? Oh.
That's okay. I'll be fine. Also, Chewing Dragon, to answer your question, I feel like you are referencing something that I don't fully remember all the details of, but somehow I feel like Stowaway would win. If it was 2 Angry Curs versus Stowaway, I think Stowaway would win that, maybe. What do you guys think?
I think I'm also missing some pretty critical context here.
He asked a question in the chat earlier, and then I didn't get around to answering it.
Chewing Dragon says it was the thing that he wrote. How could you already forget? It's not like he writes something new every week.
I'm sorry, hold on. I'm like, the gears are churning slowly in my mind. What constituted a quarterback? Like, what did quarterback mean?
Like specifically quarterback manly?
Like what's the like Speedy Volfred is Talon Crest Volfred, but what is quarterback?
It's the range throw talisman.
Mm-hmm.
Not speed throw, despite what many people mistakenly assume. It is not Star Splinter, it is Sling Bullet. Alright, so here we go. iRotor and Lilac, each with their own archetypes. Only they know, well, technically I know the archetypes as well. Their opponent does not know. what their composition is supposed to be emphasizing.
Righteous fire.
Okay.
As I rotor off to a quick start here with the help of Dalbert. Palmer casts to get rid of one of the defenders and then does a black magic jump in for another 20 damage plunge.
Okay.
This time it's Dalbert. Now, Lilac does have 2 saps,
Now go on.
but
Just once
there is the potential for Iroder to have enough damage to at least deplete Lilac's starting Pyre life, especially with no defenders back here right now. Except that Lilac does have 100 rekindling. So this one is still far from over.
more brightly than
In fact, we were moments ago technically tied.
the Templars' adversaries gained an edge. Banished all of them.
Here is Almer, uncontested throwing opportunity, gets this one in for 20.
Now to the flame. All banished.
Did AJ just say tempers? He does mess up teams sometimes, and also the
you're
scores
getting on in
sometimes.
years. He's getting on in years.
Sometimes he says the game is tied when it isn't. I think that's usually because of Leech when he messes up the math. I think he just doesn't understand how Leech works.
Into the
Sometimes,
adversary's
at
flame.
least.
Yeah. Nobody went into the. I don't think anyone went into the adversary's flame just then, unless he meant like aura.
If I were that one, I'd be rather angry.
AJ, buddy,
Get your
let's
act
get
together,
back in
man.
bed. Get your act together,
Okay.
man.
I didn't realize that web feed has such a small radius.
Alright, there we go. With that plunge,
Because
Iroder
it
takes the lead.
makes half flight like so slow.
Victory it was.
What
but
is this,
the radius
Iroder?
is pretty low.
The rite is complete.
Alright, so we can head on back.
Until the
And if you guys would
stars
like to disclose what your team compositions are, you may.
Mine was shield centric, even though I didn't really play it very well. I don't think I could have played it better.
And that's why Lilac was asking about how, you know, is it just one thing? Is it multiple things? And I was saying, well, it's maybe one of the more narrow definitions, but there are multiple ways to play it.
I had anti-air, which would have been web feed and shoulder smash, but web feed has such a low radius. I didn't think it was that small.
Oh, that's what you were talking about. I see.
But it did work, but there wasn't much air in this game, so. Apart from the Cur, I guess. So maybe that's a bit ironic.
Yeah, I'll be honest. At first, I wrote her. Did you take a Cur in the first spot?
Yes.
At first, I wasn't sure if I was clear enough, because all I told Iroder was anti-air. I didn't give any additional description or direction. So my intention was for that to be defensively, that your focus was anti-air, and I wasn't sure if you interpreted that as offensively, you are just not supposed to ever jump or fly or something like that. I was like, oh no, did I need to be more specific?
Like, I need a level of defensively, but...
Okay.
Wait, what was Iroder's?
Anti-air.
Anti-air. And shoulder smash is pretty good, and Titan Tooth plus web feed is also pretty good against air.
Alright, well let us know, chat, if there's anything we would like to see for the next one. If you want more of the archetypes, there theoretically are more, but I still cannot find the piece of paper where I wrote them all down. So it'd be tough for me to recall more, unless we just draw from some of the ones we've done in the past, which are a little fresher in the mind.
That's a quick one.
Conflicting interests.
Technically, Chewing Dragon did get in first with the talisman request.
I don't care, just let us get it, then let's do the talisman, let's get it going.
Okay. Everyone orders salad at McDonald's. No one is happy on the talismans. Whatever that means. Oh, I hear imps.
Versus the dissidents. Welcome. Who shall conduct the rites?
So, salad at McDonald's. People are not happy.
Vegetarian talismans.
I suppose, yeah. Those vegetarians, man. You just can't trust them.
You say that like you aren't a vegetarian.
They always lose documents where they write down all the lists of archetypes that they had created, and they even search across their desk and still can't find them. The worst.
Sir Gilman.
Okay, so vegetarian talismans. Wait, was that the only request that we're doing?
Well, I mean, initially it was everyone orders salad at McDonald's, no one is happy, and then later clarified to vegetarian talismans.
Chewing Dragon, is there, like, anyone specific that is going to...
I mean, it was just a talisman request.
No
so...
extra request. Go.
Okay.
You can choose.
Okay.
You write the narrative. Let's go.
Alright. Vegetarian. That is not vegetarian. This might be a cop-out. Is prayer beads vegetarian?
They're seedlings.
technically?
Yeah.
Wait, what about...
I guess so.
Yeah. I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, definitely. The more miserable the bearer, the better.
What?
So, like, just get rocks for your talisman. It's like, well, it's vegetarian. But you're definitely gonna be miserable eating this. Did someone order stone soup?
Just give him a headwind. I'm sure he'll make something semi-edible out of it.
Okay, well, that might have actually just been a stone in that case.
It's coal for some reason.
What? It's coal? It's even worse.
Action coal.
What would coal?
I mean,
take
it's not a very reputable establishment, alright?
I mean, I suppose he's succeeding at the whole make the bearer miserable.
Isn't it true that you can like eat charcoal if you've consumed?
Yeah,
poison?
like something with charcoal, like some use of charcoal. That's partially why I chose it. Probably shouldn't like eat a whole clump of it. That's probably too much.
Please do not eat coal. Also, coal and charcoal are not the same.
That's true.
What? Wait,
They are
what is
very
the
different.
difference? I keep forgetting the difference. What is the difference?
Charcoal, I believe, is like basically wood that has been
Yeah, it's
burnt,
charcoal and
whereas coal is
like,
is not wood. It's a rock and minerals.
I'm making Orlek eat a rock.
Well, there goes my lunch idea. Sorry, Frost King.
Pardon?
What? Infernal Bloom cannot be used by harps? What is this?
Wait, what? Why? Why?
Yes,
Probably because of
okay,
fell
I did it
swoop.
different. Yeah, exactly. I want to do it with fell swoop.
Oh.
Sounds fun. No, I have to think of something else.
Oh wait, you're the one picking exiles. My bad.
Bertrude.
What's up, Darkside Studios? How's it going? We are doing some multiplayer Pyre, and right now the players are choosing talismans that are vegetarian, slash are representative of ordering a salad at McDonald's, and that salad is not very good.
Onion and leaf is a fungal growth, so it's actually not.
It is vegetarian, technically. Despite how it has a face.
It has a tiny little face. For some God knows why reason.
Bertrude.
Alright.
Right, here we go.
The orb is sticky.
We shall see how these two fare with their not so pleasant
Fine,
salads.
we have Ron's song.
We do. Perhaps that's fitting. For an occasion such as this. Meanwhile, Lilac really looked like they were trying to score on their own Pyre there. Here is Iroder, throwing this one in
Maybe
for
I
25.
was.
I mean, you just, the way you jumped straight at your Pyre, I was like, you know you're going in the other direction, right?
Don't worry, I did.
Okay.
Don't worry. I'm not that stupid.
I mean, we've seen a lot of people throwing the orb at their own Pyre today, so you know, perhaps
we
it's not
have?
that out of the ordinary. Yeah, because if you do that, it bounces back out. So sometimes people do that deliberately. Oh, there's the Feral Curse, except Iroder does still have his Worm, who's able to get the banishment. One of Iroder's exiles is still a Howler, and so still a little more room for Lilac to maneuver and find a way through there for a plunge. Meanwhile, Orlek is a little preoccupied with his salute. Iroder nearly just completely ignoring Orlek, but Lilac, at least for a moment there, was able to get the stop. That
Remember
throw
that
might
you
be
can
short.
use salute even after the round starts. Not just at the start.
Lilac just testing me. Iroder throws this one in for 13.
The withdrawn are now favored to prevail. Well, now that was exciting.
Iroder now with his left. Knocks back one defender. Knocks back another.
Wherewithal,
So there's a 30 damage plunge. Whoa. Wait. That was the previous match, right? There are no Titan stars active on this one. I would like to remind you that was the previous match. Everything should be perfectly normal now.
As cold as go, you can really do better. This has to improve. This is not up to the standard.
You are
I'm
talking
sorry.
to the person who regularly represents Eastlock's Triumvirate, or at least what is functionally Eastlock's Triumvirate.
Only if I pick up Nelda, that's 2 modes.
oh, why, that was all of them.
Everyone down for Lilac, so time for Iroder to throw that one in
Flung
for
the orb
25.
into the flame. There.
Iroder gets one banishment from Gilman, and gets banished. Gets banished again, Unfortunately, Gilman makes a valiant return. But Lilac
Demon
makes a
Orla
plunge.
has dealt a devastating blow.
Oh, everyone banished
Oh man.
from that big worm cast, and that means time for Iroder to get in a demon throw here, and that leaves Lilac with 2.
More than a lick of flame
Good,
remains.
good lord.
Ooh, and Lilac with important save there. As obviously, one would assume any score for Iroder would be sufficient here, as it is just about impossible to get a 1 damage throw, and that one is certainly worth enough to finish the job.
Withdrawn prevail.
GG.
GG.
They overwhelmed their adversaries utterly.
So there are the vegetarian talismans
Done.
from McDonald's. GG.
Until the stars align.
Core is interested in hopping in. How's it going, Core? Do we have anyone else who would like to jump in as well, or is it just Core at the moment?
Chewing Dragon, would you like to play against me?
Oh,
Out of curiosity, also I will be right back, actually. While you're deciding that, I guess. 1 second.
meanwhile, I will continue to sift through pieces of paper to see if I can find one that we were looking for. Bills. Thing that's technically not really a bill. Other bill. Boring. Can't find the paper we're looking for. Oh, you know, that is fitting, Murph. That is fitting. I'm not sure we've acknowledged that at all yet today, but it is Father's Day. And so Murph says the exiles should be the dads.
Yes, but after no customize.
Oh, true, I forgot. We have the customize off in the queue. I totally forgot about that. Thank you for the reminder. I mean, for all we know,
After this one,
for all we know,
Core
this
wants to
could
hop
be
in, or-
dads as well.
Chewing Dragon wants to hop in. Maybe Chewing Dragon for 1 match and then Core.
Yeah, Chewing Dragon, are you interested in playing for 1 match? Is that what you're saying? Lilac, I think, is AFK at the moment. Will only join if you are acting in the interest of the side. I suppose we could still do an arena or a song if either of those are of interest. So we have customized off, so exiles, masteries, and talismans are just about accounted for. Sweet. This, then after that in the queue would be Murph's request for the dad's exiles. actually a little concerned that I'm not going to be able to find that piece of paper where I wrote down all the archetypes unless I just put it in some totally uncalled for location. Not where I would have normally left it, seemingly. Just quickly see, there's one other place where I might have put it. Give me just a second. Seeing it. I think I remember it was on like a pad of paper, and I had some other things on different pages on that pad of paper, and I remember now one of the other things that was on that pad of paper, which makes it easier to track down, but that pad of paper still eludes me. So maybe next time round I can track it down again. Any sign of a lilac return? Does not seem so. Oh, I might hear lilac right now.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. So yeah, we have a customize off that was sitting in the queue. So that is what we will be working with here.
Wait. That actually works quite well
Oh.
with a request that I had. Although, do I want to?
Do you want to participate in this yourself?
Yeah, do I want to, or do I think I'm gonna save this one, actually. So, you're spared for now.
Okay, just a standard customize off match. And
Yep.
then it sounds like after that we may look to get Poor and or Chewing Dragon in. Not entirely clear what Chewing Dragon is interested in doing.
I would like to say, so far my internet is being very nice to me, so I can, I don't need to swap out unless someone else needs me to.
Okay. Let's see what we end up with here. That might even be Orlek.
Oh god.
It is. Plus
No!
a worm and an imp. This is very close to the optimal Orlek team. Or at least, it's the right exiles for it. As for talismans and masteries, that of course remains to be seen. But it is a nomad, a savage, and a crone on Lilac's side.
Are you implying that there's a worm in the True Nightwings? Liz?
I'm implying that the team that was so game-breaking that we had to ban Orlek because of it had these 3 exiles, yes.
Wait, what? Wait, please elaborate on that. You can't just drop that on me.
I mean...
Watch the old tournament VODs.
Yeah, I forget if we... Did we ban it for the first tournament, or...
No, there was definitely a tournament where...
I mean, obviously...
Even 2 tournaments that Fader won, right? Or like one that Fader won, one that Cam won.
Yeah.
Both at Orlek.
Well, I remember we kind of eased into the Orlek banning, where we might have allowed him altogether in the first tournament, then in the second tournament, I think we might have maybe just banned him with the Star Splinter, And then after that, we said, all right, just get rid of Orlac altogether. I can't remember exactly how we approached it. Something like that. Oh, hold on. Yeah, for some reason, the game insisted on tabbing out there, which is not a good sign, because sometimes, even though my hands are neither on the keyboard nor on the mouse, the game somehow tabs out of the game without my clicking on it. Specifically when people score, which makes no sense.
Very strange.
Fortunately, it did not do it there, though. Edwin returns, trying to stop Raji, but Raji able to throw that one in for 15. Some hesitation moves from both players, like, no, you take the orb, no, you take the orb.
You are powerless for now.
Lilac defenseless until Headwind returns. Here he is. But Iroder still able to sneak through with the throw. That means one score might be all that Iroder needs here. Lilac defenseless, and with that throw, Iroder takes the win.
So do we want that Chewing Dragon Lilac match and we'll swap out?
Yeah, Chewing Dragon, are you looking to get in for a
The
match?
ceremony is complete.
Still not super clear on that.
Until the next rite.
Chewing Dragon said he will only join if Lilac is acting in the interest of Eastlag.
Right, and I did
for
not know
you,
what to make of that.
I'm happy to announce to Chewing Dragon that everyone acts in the interest of Eastlag all the time,
I'm not,
whether they
no.
want it or not. So you're good.
I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Dragon, I promise that I'm not acting in the interests of Islach. I promise. My intentions are just to play video games and have fun. We're all here to play sports.
Is this not coming from the person who seemingly was possessed by Eastlock a matter of minutes ago?
When? I don't know what you're talking about.
This is deeply concerning.
All will be devoured in the coming age.
You said that, not me.
Yeah, but I'm just stating the truth here. If no matter if Chewing Dragon is showing or not, Core also wanted to get in.
Yeah, I think one way or another, we have at least one person looking to get in here. So I think Chewing Dragon is saying he wants to get in for a match. Not entirely sure about that, but
All right.
I think that is the case. In which case, Iroder, I think I will give you the boot, but thank you for stopping by. GG's.
Yeah, thanks for the games.
Catch you later.
GG.
All right. Now, only after I say that does Chewing Dragon say, of course, Lids. That's what I was saying all along. All right. So I think this is just a... Really, Chewing Dragon? I think this is just a one-game setup between Lilac and Chewing Dragon.
All right.
At least that's what it seemed like. So I think that means that we could still get Core in soon after this. Let's see. And Chewing Dragon, you're on controller, right? So that means you should definitively be player one. And who would you like to be today, Chewing Dragon? I know there was this talk about dissidents, true dissidents. What are
Yes,
the
there
true
was-
dissidents?
I am the true dissidents.
The Beyonders. Oh. Interesting. All right. Did we? Yeah, I remember. Chewing Dragon loaded
I'm-
in. There we go. Okay,
I'm
Lilac locks
assuming-
in book.
I'm assuming that's what you were like. You were saying you wanted. Okay. Okay. Cool. I was like, he. That's what you meant, right? I hope.
Oh, also, wait, hold on. We still have Murph's request in the queue now for exiles. It's the dads. It's the
Ah,
dads for Father's
Oh yeah,
Day.
Happy Father's Day.
And then dread design for the song. Okay. All right then. Let's get going.
What is the like? How do we spread
Beyonders,
around these dads
Curses, the dissidents.
amongst ourselves?
Welcome.
I think everyone's
Who
one of the
shall
dads.
conduct
I
the
assume.
rites?
Anyone can be a dad if you worm your way into their life. Chewing Dragon, why is your cursor hovering over Barker? Are you trying to make a statement of some
dads.
sort? Are you trying to make a statement of some sort, Chewing Dragon?
I don't know. He's potentially typing in chat. Perhaps Chewing Dragon was not planning on using the dads. Suppose the dads have multiple definitions.
Mm-hmm. I see.
So, and it was just an exile's request for what it's worth, so masteries and talismans still up to you two.
Gotcha.
Messenger.
Alright, so it's a
imp.
Webbed Lanthorn Messenger Imp in the first spot for Chewing Dragon.
I mean, it's obvious.
That is perhaps the most obvious choice.
Mm-hmm.
Core is saying the players ought to use Manly. That is, I mean, we do have Manly Jr. That is true.
But do we want Manly Jr.? Excuse me? Oh. Ah, yes, the lore. I remember. Unfortunately. I do not hate children! Excuse you. Churn Dragon, could you confirm your reasoning for picking Gareth? Is this related to the Chapel Roan animatic, perchance?
Exile.
Cross King is back from breakfast. Did you miss anything? We are now doing what we think is
You
going
missed
to
a
be
lot.
a single match between Chewing Dragon and Lilac, in which they are taking the dads.
This is the obvious choice, just so you know.
Speedy Wolfred.
Wolfred.
This is like the most obvious of obvious choices. This is my nightmare.
Black Hoof. A cursed Almer in the last spot for Chewing Dragon.
Wait, what? What? Why is Almer emo?
He's wearing the black raiments as a cursed talisman.
Like, Messenger Imp and Gareth have the, like, white raiments, and Almer is...
Beyonders have some pretty interesting raiment colors, especially if you, I mean, double down or even triple down on a given class. You get some interesting colors.
Hold on. Yeah. Everyone else has brightly colored raiments. Except Almer. Oh my god.
Chewing Dragon says, this is a bad ending.
Oh no. Is Messenger... Hold on. Is Messenger Imp their child? Is that what I'm to gather from
I mean,
this?
these are the dads, and Messenger Imp was the first pick, so... I don't think
Messenger
so.
Imp a father? Is that what I'm gathering here?
I think they're all supposed to be dads. But Chewing Dragon says, I do love your interpretation.
Thank you.
Now begin.
Where do you think howlers come from? Sent from the person behind the dad's request.
The first doubting.
Oh. Well, anyways, Lilac gets us started with a 20 damage plunge from the stowaway. Delbert sacrifices Volfred and makes his move for a 28 damage plunge, courtesy of the bonus damage from Glory Dive.
Orb is up.
Oh, there's the Black Hoof.
Wait,
Almer is cursed.
Why did you pick Black Hoof? Wait, was there a specific talisman's request? Or
There was
just-
not. That was a voluntary cursed talisman selection.
Why? I'm very
Hoof!
curious.
It's the
why.
hoof!
Chewing Dragon, when the match is over, please explain your logic.
They did it.
Well, there's the stowaway plunging for 20.
Dolman banished.
Gareth teleporting to the orb, but he goes down. Dalbert for Lilac. Down he goes.
No.
Gareth throws this one in for 20. Gareth again.
The orb is up.
Stowaway has the infinite stamina, so can run as long as she would like. Training for the marathon, but down she goes. Gareth, no time to throw.
Dolman plunged into
Dalbert
the
with the
adversary's
28
face.
damage plunge, and the bonus damage is adding up here,
Now end the
as now
ceremony.
Chewing Dragon sitting on just 4 Pyre Light.
Outside.
Goes on a banishing spree with Messenger Imp, and then salutes, even though it doesn't do anything, then throws it in for 15.
It's the principle of the matter.
To establish dominance.
Exactly, like T-posing.
A rude predicament for
Important stop there for
dissidents.
Chewing Dragon. 1 score might be all that Lilac needs. And here's the stowaway. Down she goes. Everyone down on Lilac's side, though.
Cast from
Throw
Oh my
in
God.
for 20 damage
flame.
from Gareth.
Nice.
Big implosion takes out the entirety of Lilac's team,
No
which
law
makes
gives
time for
through
another
your
20 damage Gareth throw.
banishment.
We gotta lock in, boys.
More banishments for Messenger
Gotta
Imp.
lock in, boys.
Gareth again. That drops Lilac down to 5.
Oh!
Lilac does have a sap, but does Lilac have rekindling? Because if not, this is a sudden death match. Lilac gets blocked, banished, now banished again, now banished again. Dalbert returns only to be banished a second time round. Chewing Dragon banished there, Lilac back into possession with Dalbert. Hops in for the win.
The dissidents
GG.
prevail. I thought for certain they would not.
Well played, you two. And
Thus
perhaps
end
fitting
this night's proceedings.
that on the dad's match, it is Dalbert with the deciding score. Combine the word deciding and score, and it turns out you get disguising.
Right.
Who thought? Who'd have thought?
Oh, and I didn't realize until just now.
Okay. Chewing Dragon, how does this affect the lore? Tell me.
All right. Now, Chewing Dragon, I think, was saying he was just looking to play one match, and I know Core was interested in getting in. This reality nearly consumed you, Chewing Dragon says.
Pardon?
Okay.
What does that mean?
All right. Chewing Dragon has disconnected, which means I think he
Farewell.
is done for the night, and so we can get Core in. Is there anyone else who would like to hop in as well, or are we just getting Core here? Oh, Core also... Oh, I was about to say, Steam says you're not online, and right as I was about to say that, you did go online. Anyone else looking to get in, or is it just Core? And Core, which triumvirate would you like it to be?
Why isn't Core joining the VC?
I don't know. That's up to him.
Ah,
Chastity
Hello,
for
Core.
Core. There we go. Oops. Okay, and I don't think we have anything request-wise at the moment, so let us know if there is anything people would like to do. If not, then we can get this one started with the players taking their preferred
I got
teams.
one. I got one.
Oh, okay. Ah, I see.
You must
To the
abide
boat
by my rules.
we go. All right, and that seems like that might be it. So let's
Hello,
get started.
Core. How are you doing? Core.
The chastity shall take on the dissidents.
Where Core, you there?
Welcome.
Okay, so
Who shall
only
conduct
the boat
the rites?
request here. Everything else setup-wise, all up to the players. Chewing Dragon says, could this be the end of the Spirit Dimension storyline? I thought we already saw the end of that storyline. Palmer reunites with Gareth and creates the Cursed Child, the Messenger Imp.
No.
Oh.
Okay. Do I want to know more details than that? Chewing Dragon, will you indulge me more? Is this is no requests, right?
No requests, no. Just that
Alright.
vote. Lilac is a fan, I see, says Chewing Dragon.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued, to be sure,
Oralek.
and I would like to hear more.
Quick throwing Manly in the second spot for Core. Speedy Pamitha for Lilac.
Exile.
Last pick is Tizo with
Tizo.
extra damage and the legendary talisman for infinite stamina
Now
on
begin.
Lilac's side. We also saw,
Infinite stamina, you mean?
perhaps, a little bit of boat magic there for Oralek as he sprouts wings.
What was that?
That's his boat magic.
Oh my god.
They don't call him Air Oralek for nothing.
You're telling me, man.
A deftly thwarted drive.
Pamitha now, back to Tizo.
Hello?
Exploding sapling, and now no one back to defend on Lilac's side. Oh, except Tizo returns just in time to get that stop. Dangerous portal now for Lilac, but Core in position to set up that 25 damage sap throw. Zoxiana for Core. Now Manly. Looked like he was trying to throw it straight into the puddle there. Did have a sapling as well, though. That was probably the actual reason. And some leech on the worm score for Core.
I almost pity
Core stopped before you could get that throw, though. Lilac blocked, vanished, and now Core with Manly. Gets into throwing range.
the fire's wane.
Gets 25 for Manly here.
How very fortunate for the chastity.
Oralek sets up the Brazen Manor, although I'm not sure that Lilac spec'd that. Tizo. There's a little bit of boat magic of the imp variety. Dangerous portal from that too, although Core in possession and resets the portal by scoring here. It's another 25 damage from Manly. Followed quickly by a 20 damage Harp Plunge. That means one score might be enough for Core here if it is coming from a Seize Chance Worm, which I'm not sure if Core took mastery-wise, or of course, Core's Sap would have enough as well. But meanwhile, here's Orlek, causing some trouble. Core does get rid of him. Now Lady River, that throw, a little bit short. Tizo for Lilac, hopping around the puddle. Core threatening to use the exploding sapling, but Tizo does make it in for a 25 damage plunge. Whoa! Well, Orlek did not have the orb there. Unfortunately for Lilac, otherwise that could have been quite the display.
I love boat magic.
Well, Core does get the 25 damage he needed, and with that throw, emerges victorious. GG.
The right is
Soralek!
You're not wrong.
Oh, well, GG. Well played, you two. Let's head on back. True Dragon says, this could be a fun idea for an ending, but the Spirit Dimension storyline is far from completion. The original idea was to keep playing matches until the last two exiles are left and they fight to the death. In the end, only one remains at the ruins of the Spirit Dimension and the fast food wasteland. Or, there could be, like, a good ending if well-aligned exiles outnumber the evil ones. But after the boat incident, Ruki and Tizo fate was sadly sealed. There are like 4 good exiles against 8 evil ones.
Intriguing.
Intriguing indeed, but let's set ourselves back. Yeah, to our default settings here. Let us know if there is anything we would like for the next one. Or if there is anyone else who would like to get in. It is starting to get a little bit late, so we probably would not have... Or this might be our last chance to get someone new in if there is anyone else who would like to still get the chance to play tonight.
I'd like to play at least one. I have a set of requests, and I'd like to play at least one more.
Okay.
Against Core. So, the arena requests are on cooldown.
Oh, I see.
Could I get an IOU?
I don't know if it works that way.
Can I pay you back later?
Maybe you should have thought of that when you made the boat request.
Listen, you know how I get when it comes to the boat. I lose all control. But could I make a suggestion at least? Could I make an arena suggestion? Lids?
The boat request is sacred.
Could I make an arena suggestion?
If by suggestion, do you mean lock in a request even though you are not actually doing a formal request?
I mean a suggestion. You don't have to accept it since I don't have Lidcoin to back it up. Unless... No, it's still on cooldown. Fall of Solium. That is what I was going to request.
Okay.
Or we could, like, start random matches until we get a random Solium.
No. Blood Princess is turning the sermon intro on. Okay. Combine that with the Fall of Solium, and careful now. This is not the Liberation Rite yet. Though we're almost turning it into one. Darkside Studios says, I will be a random solium for you.
Thank you.
Well, it's on cooldown for everyone, right?
I'm not sure.
I think that's the way it works. I think the request overall is on cooldown.
Darn.
For everyone simultaneously.
Well, I guess we'll just have to hope that...
Okay. Who knows? Maybe we'll... I mean, I don't think we've been there yet today. Not that that makes it any more likely for it to show up.
Exiles, you are gathered here within the Book of Rites. Here one of you may walk the path to glory. Let us determine which of you is the superior. The Chastity, stand prepared. Dissidents, stand ready. The rite shall begin forthwith.
Okay, so no requests affecting your team composition here. This one's still up to the players. So core goes Thorned Knot on Gilman.
Would I theoretically be able to do one more match against Core?
Well, I mean, at
After
the moment,
that.
I haven't seen anyone else saying they're looking to get in.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
open invitation if anyone is interested, but as of right now, I've not seen anyone.
Gotcha.
Heads up, you have a hangover effect on Pamitha?
Ah, thank you. Okay.
Speedy Stowaway. What's up, homie? How's it going?
Wait, is that the person's name, or did he...
That is the person's name, yes.
Ah.
Homie the homie. Double homie. Homie squared,
very,
even.
Very good username. For a split second, I was like, was Lids just going, "What's up, homie"?
Yo, what's up, homie?
Bertrude.
The hangover. Pamitha.
Finally,
Oh yeah, you still have the hangover.
Core said something.
You still
I know.
had the hangover.
I know. I know. Don't worry. I'm well aware. Also, hi Core. How are you doing?
Or we'll go Speedy Messenger Imp in the last spot. It's basically like, it's a sports game of sorts. Some people say it's most similar to basketball. I actually think it might be more similar to hockey. Basically, there is an orb, kind of like the ball or the puck in basketball or in hockey, and the players try to get that orb and throw it into their opponent's fire. When they do so, they deal damage, and if they damage their opponent's fire enough, then they will win. So you'll see both players have 100 next to each of their names. That's how much life they have left on their fire, but then after this score, Core threw the orb in, that dealt 25 damage to Lilac, so if Lilac runs out of Pyre life, then Lilac would lose, Core would win. They can also take out their opponent's team members, banish them for a few seconds by either running into them or using or casting their auras, as we saw for a second there, where they basically shoot out some energy at their opponents. That means there might be a little more room to maneuver around safely and set up scores like this. And that's true. We're doing multiplayer at the moment, so it's all just gameplay here. But there is it is usually a single-player campaign RPG that actually has a fair bit of a visual novel aspect to it as well. But that stuff is far less prominent / non-existent when we're in the multiplayer aspect. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. Especially if you're, I mean, probably sports games are the closest thing. So if you're into sports games, it's an interesting.
Unfortunately, not a lot of people are into those.
Oh, I mean, it's incredibly popular, sports games, yes. It's just that I don't think there's a lot of overlap between people who play sports games and people who are familiar with Supergiant games or Pyre.
Well,
like, I mean, some of the most popular games are, you know, like FIFA /
really?
EAFC nowadays.
Okay, that's interesting to hear actually, because like a lot of the negative reviews, a lot of the negative reviews I would read for Pyre were like, oh, I don't like this game because it's a sports game. And
yeah, I think it's
like
just
that.
two sort of distinct groups that may not overlap that much. And since Supergiant had built up a fan base of mostly RPG, action RPG type gamers, they may not necessarily be the same types of people who are interested in doing sports games. So it was a little bit unexpected among the Supergiant fans, and then, you know, maybe people they get the game because they liked Bastion, they liked Transistor, but they didn't necessarily know what they were getting themselves into with Pyre, and were a little surprised by it. And if they are not big fans of sports games, then might have not been to their taste. But yeah, no, there are absolutely a ton of people who like sports games. It's just there may not be a ton of overlap.
Gotcha. That's a shame, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
More
you could.
people-
I mean, especially if we're talking just the multiplayer aspect, where it is mostly just gameplay, and less RPG, less visual novel, and all that stuff. I think you could make a strong case that Pyre is a lot more similar to, you know, a basketball game, a hockey game, so on and so forth, than, you know, than Transistor or than Bastion. So it's almost like those are the people you would want to try to tell about Pyre, so they might be more likely to be fans of it. Motorsports, yeah, less similar to that, more so to, as I was saying, I feel like basketball or hockey are the ones that probably get the most comparisons or have the most in common with Pyre. Well, as I was saying, it's getting a little late, so if there is anyone else who would still like to get in tonight, we're sort of running out of time to do that. Let me know and we could maybe still squeeze you in, but otherwise, we might wrap things up with these two. Okay, now the Fall of Solium is off cooldown, or at least the arena is off cooldown, so we can lock in Fall of Solium. Was there another aspect to this, or was it just the arena that you needed?
I think it is just the arena that I need.
Okay. Looks like we're all set then. I'm not doing Gwent stuff nowadays, to be honest. I haven't even booted up Gwent in a few years.
The chastity shall confront the dissidents. Welcome. Who
So-
shall
What is
conduct the
what is
rites?
Gwent? Out of curiosity. What? What did I say?
Sir Gilman?
I do not know what it is, unfortunately.
Gwent is peak.
I see. I forgive me for not knowing.
Well, I take that to mean you have never played The Witcher 3.
Not at all.
Are you familiar with the game The Witcher 3?
I know it exists. and
Okay, that's a
it.
start.
And I know that some guy on YouTube made a song based on it, but that's it.
Probably, yeah, it does have really good music, but The Witcher 3 is an action RPG, fantastic game. I think many people would say one of the best games ever. And in it, there is a mini game of sorts that is a card game called Gwent.
Yeah, I just looked it up on Steam. Is it like the card game specifically?
Yeah, so in The Witcher 3, there's a mini game for Gwent, and then people really liked that mini game to the point where the developer said, you know what, we're just going to make a standalone version of just Gwent, where we go and double down on that, and there's no other stuff, it's just the card game, and it has more depth to it than the mini game does in The Witcher 3. So there was a long while where I was doing that a fair bit. Yeah, the rules are technically a little bit different. There are way more cards. There's a lot more depth in the standalone version of the game.
Intriguing. Very intriguing.
A lot more confusing. Yeah. It's more to wrap your head around, it's true.
I'm not very good at card games, admittedly. I can play solitaire and Go Fish,
Yeah.
and that's it.
I mean, it's not with a standard deck of cards. You know, it's more like a Hearthstone kind of thing where, I mean, yes, it's a deck of cards, but it's with, you know, characters and places and events that happened based on the, you know, The Witcher 3, well, all of the Witcher games and books.
There's books?
Yeah, technically, the name of the book series is not The Witcher. I have not read them. Don't remember what the actual name of the series is. Book series.
Chewing Dragon says that you're his enemy.
Didn't want to play with me like 2 years ago. Oh dear. On Gwent? I did not remember this. I mean, the other thing is that they stopped supporting the game like a couple of years ago, so that's when I stopped playing. It's like, oh, we're not going to add any new cards anymore. Like, okay, you know.
Tizo.
How could you, Lids?
I have no recollection of this, Chewing Dragon. Also, you still have a hangover effect on the stowaway.
Okay.
Alright, so it's Almer instead.
Begin. Yes.
What? What?
Well, it was a quick prone salute from Lilac, except Chewing Dragon had the orb.
Oh god.
That's a very quick howler there, or at least it was, except now all the howlers are gone. And that was a one-time deal for Lilac with that crone salute. So,
Okay.
I mean, there are two crones. I didn't catch if Lilac took it on both of those crones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, why do you still have the one in?
Oh, there's the other crone salute. Yeah, I mean, there was a time when I did a whole bunch of Gwents.
In goes the orb.
Oh god.
They had,
No.
it's definitely more complicated in the standalone version, so, you know, that's, some people like that, for other people that's not their style, but I liked how they had weekly events that would alter the rule set, and so it kept things fresh, because every week it was like, oh, there's a new thing to do, and so there's new stuff that's good. So it didn't feel like, you know, you're always just doing exactly the same thing, which I feel like in a lot of other games can happen sometimes, where just, this is the meta. And it's the only thing that makes sense.
The orb is up.
Thanks for stopping by, Darkside Studios. Good to see you. I'm more like AJ than we thought. What? Why?
Absolution.
Oh, there's, thanks to the portal, 15 damage plunge from Tizo for core. Oh, I said the wrong name.
Okay, Grandpa, let's get you back to bed.
I'm afraid I'm just getting too old.
Most excellently done this time, I must admit. The ceremony is complete.
Not even, I don't even know what you're referring to at this point. But anyways, let's head on
Until
back.
the stars align.
Remember watching Gwen stuff? Sov plus Melusine was the highlight. Oh man, we spent enough time on Gwent that we did some pretty crazy things. Like infinite points, infinite damage, infinite number of turns. That was maybe one of the craziest ones. We have a few interesting Gwent highlights for sure. I mean, that was the game that I had sunk. Well, right now it is the game that I have the second most time on Steam, and so definitely a lot of highlights and lowlights throughout that Gwent experience. All right. Is there anything else we'd like to do here in the next one?
Was there gonna be a swap out? I can't remember.
I was basically just saying if anyone else did want to get in, we were kind of running out of time, so we would need to get them in as soon as possible, but nobody was expressing interest. So it seems like we may just wrap up with you two, and in that case it may make sense for this to be our penultimate match, the last one in which we take any requests from chat before our Liberation Rite, in which we'll just have the players take their preferred teams. Yeah, Melusine was definitely one of my favorite cards, for sure. That was a lot of fun to use her. That and Kahir before he got swapped around to only work on your turn. Customize off for the penultimate rite. That can be arranged. And among other cards, of course, but those are just to name a couple. Then, of course, Damsel in Distress has to have a special place in my heart. Okay, I think we're ready. So let's hop in.
The chastity shall now face
It'll be at the pit.
the dissidents.
It is a sap, a demon, and a cur for core. It is an imp, a savage, and a nomad
Bound to happen.
for Lilac. Here is Lilac plunging with that savage. That was Almer. Now he's gone in this round. That means it's just Headwind, at the moment at least. Messenger Imp returns,
How sad for the dissidents.
but now no one to stop Manly here.
Manly's aim was
Charges up for a 25 damage throw.
a show of strength from the dissidents' rivals.
Headwind. And Ulmer. A little bit of wall bouncing,
A rude
but not enough for Lilac to break through there as Core back in possession, checks for the Brazen Manor. Didn't seem like he had it there. Somebody has a Fairy Spirit. Core now plunging for 20 with his Cur, and no prayer beads nor any built-in prayer beads on that Cur. Obviously, we know Lilac has Sacred Bond on Headwind.
somebody hit the
We
orb.
know Core has the Exploding Saplings. We know Lilac has at least basic portals. I don't remember if we've seen if they're super portals or not. Here's Core, setting up another sap throw, this one for 17.
A mere attempt.
Oh, there is Brazen Manor on Jody. Okay. Means Core potentially could have enough damage here with Brazen Manor active to finish it with one score. But Jody goes down. Headwind blocked. Almer. Headwind down.
Simply monstrous.
Jody knocks back one defender. Tries to set up the Brazen Manor, but doesn't work out that time. The Fairy Spirit looks like it's on Messenger Imp. And it is a super portal as well.
No
Oh,
sign
but big banishment there for Core. Everyone down tries to move in Jody. Lilac does get some defenders back in the time it takes Core to move Jody into position.
punishment for all.
Everyone down for Lilac.
Now then,
Core doesn't have enough damage for one score with Manly. Does seem to be very keen on getting Jody in there, but it didn't work out that time.
sorry, Almo.
Big exploding sapling play, Lilac defenseless until Messenger Imp returns. Jody. Trying to use the safety of those sap and sapling auras, and that is just enough to get Jody in for a 40 damage winning
Their fire
plunge.
yet burns with vigor and resolve.
GG.
The rite is done.
Well played, you two. Let's head on back.
Until the next rite.
And I think it is time for our final rite of the night, our liberation rite. So that means we'll head to the Fall of Solium. Turn customize back on, but no requests from chat for this one. We'll have players taking their preferred teams. And if you guys are ready, then let us begin.
Welcome, exiles. You are gathered at the Fall of Solium. Here you shall be tested by your adversary. Know that the scribes themselves are watching. The chastity, stand ready. Dissidents, stand prepared. we shall get started.
Alright, so as we said, this will be our final rite of the night, our Liberation Rite. No requests from chat for this one. Both players just taking their preferred teams to finish things off in style. And for core, that is a power casting Snadra in the lead spot. An exploding Oralek for Lilac. Typhoon Bottle Volfred in the second spot for core. While Lilac's second selection will be a Speedy Rookie. Core finishes with Speedy Raji. And Lilac goes right light on Volfred. So alright, here we go, our final rite of the night. Core on the left representing the Chastity, and Lilac on the right representing the Dissidents. Best of luck to you both.
Sacred miracle has kept the flames alive. Well cast. Oh. And there it is.
GG.
And there it is. GG.
Proved their worth. Their adversaries they defeated utterly.
Well played, you two.
Thus ends the liberation rite.
And that was our final rite of the night, our liberation rite. So thank you everybody for stopping by today, both the players and also those who gave us their requests in chat as well. I am going to hop out of Discord, but I will catch you guys next time. Alright, let me just free some people from Steam Remote Play, if they're even still in. Here we go. Alright. As I was saying, that was our final rite, our liberation rite, so thank you everybody who participated in the rites and everyone who gave us the requests in chat as well. This was, of course, Pyre Community Rite Night, and if you're interested in getting more involved in multiplayer Pyre, then the best way to do so is by joining the Rite Club Discord server, which you can do by clicking on that link right there. My name is Lids. I'm hosting these Rite Nights. My streaming schedule is weeknights. We're doing a combination of Path of Exile 2 and the First Ascendant. First Ascendant, we're kind of waiting for the next update to come out, so might be a little less of that. Fridays, Mass Effect Andromeda multiplayer. Saturdays, Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, and then obviously Sundays, Pyre multiplayer. Did actually have to skip a stream or two this past week because I had some computer issues, but that means we may do a makeup stream or two this upcoming week to sort of, well, make up for that. TBD on that, I suppose, depending on how my work schedule is looking. But other than that, Lids Vids on YouTube as well, posting the VODs for all those streams, so if you missed anything, you can catch that stuff there as well, including last week's Civil War, which again, if you have not checked that out, definitely make sure you do so, because that is a, that was not the standard Rite Night setup. It's a little bit different, and it's been a while since we last did a Civil War. Then also some Hades 2 videos straight to YouTube, in addition to our first ever Path of Exile 2 build guide video. And if you haven't done so yet already, of course, you can also hit the follow button to get notification when I go live. Also, at Lids Vids on Twitter. I post there when I go live as well. But actually, the best place to stay up to date on all things Lids is my Discord, which you can join by clicking on that link right there. But that's going to be it for me for tonight. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and I'll catch you next time.